Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tel Cockerel. So I'm going to say good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending where you are in the world and where you're watching from. Today is, did I say it already? It's Monday the 24th of March, and today's show is the International Week Bumper Bonus Predictions Results Show to see how you guys got on with this week's bumper. Don't forget that this Friday there is another bumper because there's no Premiership games on next weekend, and so Friday's show will be another bumper of 20 games. And as I've got your attention at the moment, I've got a feeling that the week after that is back to Premiership matches, and if so, I need to introduce when I'm going to do the show for that, because this is going to be another one of them ones we're going to be running one after the other. So Friday the 28th will be, so this Friday will be a bumper. Monday will be the results show for the bumper, so I'm gonna have to pick another day again. Right, so what I may do is I may do a show on Sunday morning, and on Sunday morning I will do a show. Don't know, I'm going to try, I'll do a show probably at around 11 in the morning. Yeah, I'll do it about 11 in the morning and get the predictions in for the following week, because there's games on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and then the results show for that would be on the Friday, coupled with another set of Premiership. Oh, it's going to be fucking busy anyway. It's going to be busy. Right, I'll worry about that when we get to it Friday. But Friday, there'll be another bumper show with predictions for next weekend's games. So let me say hello to a few people. Good afternoon. Adrian is here. Good afternoon to Drula. Good afternoon to Christopher. I hope you're well, sir. Drula's been getting about, and she's got a name for herself. Very demanding, our Drula. In a nice way, though. She's a mole on other channels. Oh, there's all sorts, Julie, you've been called that I've seen today. Colin B's here. Good afternoon, Colin. I hope you're well, sir. Archer's here. Good afternoon, Archer. Graham's here. Good afternoon, Graham. I hope you're well. Good afternoon to the lovely Jess. I hope you're well, Jess. Colin. Colin, who's been up to mischief over the weekend. Hello, Colin. Big love to you as well, mate. I hope you're well. Jimmy H is here. Big up, everyone. What a glorious day we're having. I don't know how glorious. It's not sunny down here. It hasn't been all day. Daniel's here, says big up. Small downstairs, Dan. Small downstairs. People saying hello to each other. Just want to make sure that I've caught everybody that's watching. I have. And I'm not hanging about for people. And I haven't publicised this show either. I've just gone ahead and done it because I've only just switched off from work, so to speak. I haven't done it fully. I need to log out, but I've just switched off from work to come and do this show. So, right, I think I've covered it. What I will say is, for the people that are watching, for those that care to watch, let me go back to, I'm just going to do what I usually do. So last week we had, I haven't checked this, I'm going to check it now. We had 44 people do predictions. Right, so 44 people did predictions. Right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check that like button. 44 people did predictions last week. And what did we do? International bumper bonus week predictions. So 44 people did predictions. We've got 40 likes. I will say at the end of the stream, 36 likes, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people leave. 9 people left predictions after the stream. And there was 36 likes before that. After the people had left their predictions on the stream, I ended up with 40 likes for the show. So obviously the likes again haven't matched the people that are entering the comp. Oh well, shit happens. And yeah, it's something that I'll be looking towards. Right, so tell me how many points you think you got, guys. Christopher Inshaw, you think you got 10 or 11? Can only one or the other. I can't distinguish between one or the other. So just got to give me one figure that you think you got. Bear me a second. Right. So Christopher says he thinks he got 11. Christopher, you didn't get 11. Drula says she got 15. Drula says she got 15. Drula, you didn't get 15. Or should I say, no, I'm going to tell you, Drula and Christopher, you are right, sort of. Right. I think I got 14, but that doesn't include results in 2 games. People were telling me that there were no result. There was no results for 2 games. Every game had a result, bar one game. Only one game didn't have a result. Daniel says it weren't looking good after 5 games, so I stopped looking. Right, there is one game that didn't produce a result, and that was Panda versus Simba. There was no result for that game. Every other game had a result. So what I did, Panda versus Simba, what I've done for everybody who made a prediction in that game, I've given a point to reward the fact that you've joined and you did the predictions. So some people missed out last week. There were some glaring people that missed out last week on predictions, and all it means is that because you guys took part and because you made predictions, I've given everybody that put predictions in a point each. So whatever you think you might have got, you would have got an extra point for it. So let's start with the banners. Right. Good afternoon, Ben. Ben's back in the country. I hope it all went well, your holiday, your skiing venture. Right. So we will start with, in the bin says Cordy thinks he got a point there. Right, we will start with the first game was Wolfsberger AM versus Tribeck, and this ended up with a 2-1. This ended up with a 2-1 victory for the home team. It's a bit difficult because there's so much to go through. Right, so because this kind of gives it away a bit. Right, so it was 2-1 to the amateur side. I have to remind myself. So it's Wolfsberger 2, Tribeck 1, and the people that got the correct prediction in this game was Carl Simpson, correctly predicted 2-1. And then you got JSY, correctly predicted 2-1. Adrian correctly predicted a 2-1. Paul G correctly predicted a 2-1. Darren correctly predicted a 2-1. Johnny Reviews correctly predicted 2-1. Roundtable Talk correctly predicted it. And so did Vindaloo. And we've gone to the 3rd page. And so did Kuva, Top Spurs, Stacey, Tigaro, and David Shear. All predicted the 2-1. So got green, 3 points for that. Anybody else who's got an orange predicted the home win. And that is 1 point, which is quite a few. In the second game was between OC Charleroi versus Stoke Wafusi. Well, this ended up with Charleroi 5, Stoke 1. Nobody correctly predicted the scoreline in this game, but you've got quite a few orange there, so you people would have all scored a point. So anyone went for the home victory would have scored a point. Yeah? Sorry, my dogs are barking. Someone's come through the door. Then we had the next game was between Gradina Srebrenik versus Gradak, and that ended up 2-4. So Gradina 2, Gradak 4. Quite a surprise result. quite a surprise result, and very, very few people predicted the away win. But you do have some, and that would be Christopher Inshaw picked up a point, Richard picked up a point, Bobby Kay picked up a point, and that was it. They're the only people that picked up a point for that game, which was 2-4. The next game that we went to was Montana versus Fratria. And this was another surprise result. It was a 0-1 win, away victory for Fratria. And again, smattering of people got this one, i.e. 2 people predicted an away victory. And the 2 people are Lee Wizkid predicted it. No one on this page predicted it. And then you have Hotspurs predicted an away victory. So only 2 points gained by 2 people in that game. Game number 5. Game number 5 was between Eves versus Fula Edifice. Eves versus Fula Edifice. And this ended up with Eves 2, Fula Edifice 0. Another one that probably went against form, if I'm honest. And with this, the people that correctly predicted the scoreline here were Paige. Paige got the 2-0. Ed M got the 2-0. And Hotspurs got the 2-0. And then you had a smattering of people that went for the home victory, but didn't get the actual scoreline. The next game was between, so we're now on to Universidad de Chile versus S. Morin. And this game ended up 3-0. And the correct predictions for this game came in from yours truly. Get rid of that. Yours truly got that one. Brian G also got the correct prediction in that game. Adrian, the Oracle, got the correct prediction. Big John got the correct prediction. And that was it. And anyone else that got an orange correctly predicted a home victory. Another game that threw quite a few people off was the next game that we had. And that was between, that was in the Chinese Cup, wasn't it? It was Guangxi Langhang 0, Wenzhou Professional 0. And in this game, we hardly ever see it, but the correct prediction on a 0-0 came in from Dan Coys. He got the correct prediction 0-0. And he was the only one. You had some other people who scored orange for a draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other people correctly predicted a draw, whether it was 1-1, 2-1, or 3-1. So you all got a point. But the only one to get 3 points was Dan Coy. So well done, Dan, on that. The next game produced a second 0-0 of the one after the other, and that was between Oromaso versus Atletico FC. Quite a surprise because Atletico had a player sent off, so they played a lot of the game with 10 men. So, and Oromaso, I looked at the stats, obviously, because I had a home victory for this. I looked at the stats. Oromaso absolutely murdered them. So stats is an arse, although it did say that their goalkeeper made loads of saves and Oromaso's keeper made none whatsoever. But it was a 0-0 scoreline, and as you can see on the first page, nobody predicted a draw. On the second page, Ben predicted the 4-4 draw, which was his stock answer for this week, so he picked up a point. Vindaloo predicted a draw at 2-2. Dekara predicted a 1-1, so they all picked up a point. And then you've got Stacey predicted a 2-2 draw, so she also picked up a point. The next game that we go to was between Inter Club versus Congo Under-17s, which ended up Inter Club 3, Congo Under-17s 1. And the correct predictions came in from Graham, Carl Simpson, David Clark, Peter Kagayas, Vindaloo, and Stacey all correctly predicted a 3-1 victory. Everybody else that predicted a home win, you're in orange, you would have scored a point. Panda versus Simba was the game that never took place, or was still to have a result yet from it. So I don't know whether they moved the date and that. But what I did, as I've already explained, you can see highlighted in yellow is everyone that made a prediction, whether you went for a home win, an away win, or a draw. The fact that you took part in predictions last week meant I gave you everyone a point. So you've all scored a point for that game, rather than scratch the game because you lot were loyal to doing the predictions and you didn't forget to do them because there's no Premiership games. You all score a point. So unlucky to those that didn't take part. The next game that we go to is Inter San Carlos versus Carmelita, which ended up with a 1-0 victory, home victory for Inter San Carlos. On the first page, you can see a lot of orange, but no one got the correct prediction. On the second page, you can see a lot of orange. Nita got the correct prediction in this game. And also Lee Smithy Smith correctly predicted the 1-0 victory. So well done to them guys. Next game you go to is Vukovar 1991 2, Croatia Zimchavki 0. And in this, as you can see, Archer correctly predicted this. Michael Chelsea has correctly predicted the scoreline here as well. Drula got the correct scoreline. Queen Ellie predicted the correct scoreline. Johnny Reviews predicted the correct scoreline. And Kuva and Totspurs also predicted the correct scoreline. Anybody else that got an orange, it's because you went for a home win. And if white, if you didn't get a score at all. The next game was between Holguin and FC Guantanamo, which ended up with Holguin 1, FC Guantanamo 0. And for this one, nobody on this page, 2 people predicted a home win. So this had away victory written all over it. Even the odds were away victory, but it ended up a home win. So the people that picked up a point was Richard and Christopher Inshaw, I think, on this one. But then you also have Ian Meth picked up a point. So did Bobby K. So did Adrian. However, your Queen and Colin B correct predictions. Paul G picked up a point. Johnny Reviews picked up a point. Peter Kagai's picked up a point. Correct prediction from Nita as well in this game. And there was also a correct prediction for Lee Smithy Smith, and David Shear picked up a point. So moving on from Holguin, we then had Wadi Degla versus Alcana, and that ended up a 2-1 victory for Wadi. And for that, you got quite a sea of orange, but Jimmy Hotspur got the correct result. Richard got the correct result. Leo, correct result. Dan Coys scored the correct result. Ian Meth got the correct result. Johnny Reviews the correct result. Roundtable Talk, Vindaloo got the correct result. And so did Stacey and David Shear. So well done to you guys. Everyone in orange, you picked up a point. The next game was between Manga Sport and FC Libreville, and that ended up 2-1 win for Manga Sport. And for this one, correct prediction came in from Richard, got the correct scoreline. Andy LUFC got the correct scoreline. Brula got the scoreline. Adrian got the correct scoreline. Paul G got the correct scoreline. Peter Kagai's the correct scoreline. Nita the correct scoreline. And it looks like Lee Smithy Smith and David Shear both that got the correct scoreline. Anyone else in orange, you went for the home win. Anyone in white, you've gone for the away win on a draw, and you didn't pick up the point. The next game, I think, kind of threw a lot of people off as well, and it was between Rathenau and Maccabi Berlin. It seemed to be that a lot of people went for a home or away victory. Most people went for away, but it was a draw. And in that, nobody picked up a point on this page for that game. Nobody picked up a point on the second page for that game. Oops. And on the third page, nobody predicted a draw in this game. No form of draw. Sorry, that's wrong. Sorry, Ben Kaufman would have predicted a draw. Sorry, I've just jumped. Right, sorry. In the second page, Bobby K predicted a 2-2. Colin Blackshaw got it correct at 1-1, so he picked up 3. Ben Kaufman and Peter Kagayas both had a draw, and nobody on the last page. So it was the middle page that scored any points. And in there's 3 oranges and 1 green. Nothing on page 1 and page 3. The next game was Tamale versus VC Warriors, and this ended up with a 5-0 victory. You can see quite a bit of orange there, but Paige, and I remember laughing on the show and saying, Paige, are you all right? Paige predicted the 5-0 victory, so well done, Paige. Everyone else got oranges that predicted a home win, but Paige was the only person that went for 5-0. The next game was between Liliopoli versus Kifisia in Greece, and it was a 0-3 scoreline. And for this game, yours truly correctly predicted the 0-3 scoreline. And anyone else is in orange went for the away victory, which is some people there. There's some more people there that got oranges as well for the away victory. And some people there went for the away victory. 3 people on this page went for the away victory. So only 1 green there, and that was yours truly. The next game was between Tepatitlán de Morelos versus Atlético Bath, and this ended up as a 4-1 victory for the home side. You can see a few people there went for the home victory and have got an orange. Few people there went for a home victory, so the majority have gone for a home victory, I'd say, by looking at the colouring of the scores. And down the bottom there, you've got 4 out of 6 on this page also went for the home victory, but no one scored a green. But you done well. Your home victory would have scored you a point. And the last game of the weekend, it's the last game that we predicted, was Pressov versus Lubovna. And that ended up with a 1-0 victory. So on the first page, you got anyone in orange predicted a home win. Page 2, again, oranges for a home win. Dekaru predicted a 1-0 victory. So got a green for Dekaru. And you've also got Dekaru, both Australian, both rhyming. Dekaru, both predicted a 1-0. Anybody else in orange scored a point. Right, I'm going to chat to see what you guys are saying, because I've had to jump down and do the scores. Where are we? Hi, Nick. Nick's just joined us. I've just seen that Nick's there. Destiny 5, good afternoon. Missed out on the predictions this week, Destiny. There's another chance on Friday. 60 points on offer again on Friday. And it's at 3:30 again. It's a 3:30 start again on Friday, because I'm now doing double sessions at football again. So it means that I'm going to have to start half an hour earlier. Then you've got Daniel says, I know my Chinese Cup football for the 0-0 draw. It's the goalkeeper that got sent off, was it? I know that I was waiting on the result, and then they were down to 10 men, and they were for ages. Ryan G is here. Hello, Ryan. So I'm trying to catch up with the chat because I didn't have the chat. Rumanshu's here. Good afternoon, good evening, Rumanshu. I hope you're well, sir. Tickets have just gone on sale for the Brentwood game. David with all his 2-1s over the board and got 20 points to Jamie Git, says Ryan G. David's wasn't feeling well, and David said to me to put 2-1 for every game. That's what I did. Daniel says 4-4 from Ben. Ben was in the chat because he was away on holiday, and Ben said put him down for 4. Double Daigle was his comment, I think. Double Daigle for every game, and that's what I did. Ian Meth, good afternoon. I hope you are well. Paige, what's your lottery number, says Destiny. I don't think Paige is with us, but that's what you guys did this week. That's what you guys did this week. So, from you guys doing that this week, like Ian, I'm not sure whether you've seen it. Who's just come in? Ian and Nick. Hopefully you got to see. I think Nick must have seen it. Ian, if you haven't seen it, you didn't lift yours on the string, didn't you? So you might be towards the bottom. Is Ian? I know Ian's. Yeah, you did yours live. You sent 2 after the string because you said 2-1 for both games at the end, didn't you? The 2 that you missed. Ian, you scored 16 points this week. I will say to people that the average for this week, is 13.5 points. So basically, 14 and above gets you above average. Anything below 14, you're average, you're below. Yeah. Right, sorry, I was just having a look. Right, so what that then does for the league table. For the league table, it doesn't really do much because quite a few people took part. There were some noticeable absentees. There have been some movements, and we have some more gold on the board to celebrate. But we will start with the bottom of the league. We've now got 132 players. The Irish Hotspur was in the show on Friday, and he only predicted one show. I offered him the opportunity to do the rest, and he said, I know nothing about these teams, lad. So he only predicted one, and the one that he predicted, he predicted 6-2. It was a home victory, scored a point. So the Irish Hotspur becomes the 132nd player, and he's only there by virtue of alphabetical order. So had he been called Irish, then he would have been up in 129th. But because it's the and it's a T, he's in 131st. There's not much change between 124th and 100th. However, the starts changing here. Ben Kaufman has gone into 79th place. With his 4 points this week, he jumps into 79th. So well done, Ben. I'm sure you're happy about climbing to 79th. Andy has gone into 72nd. Paige has gone into 67th. Andy and Paige are both not here at the moment. But 72nd and 67th. Christopher Inshaw and In the Bin both climbed to 62nd and 61st. And Darren, who's also not here, Darren gets the first gold. He becomes the 55th player to break to break 3 figures. So he's on 100 points. He's gone past the 100-point barrier. So he is the newest golden player we've got on 101. Leo has gone into 52nd on 124 points. As we go further up the league, Dekaru's gone into 46th with 151 points. Stacey has climbed into 43rd with 165. Bobby K up into 40th with 179. Archer's up to 39th with 181. And then we have some more gold in our miss. Richard and Jimmy. Not only did they move up, so they would have been green anyway, but they actually broke the 200-point barrier. So Richard and Jimmy, 35th and 34th respectively, have both broken the 200 barrier and would have climbed this week. Queen Ellie has gone into 31st. She had a good week, Ellie, to taper into that. But the men of the week this week, so let me just make sure I've got, I know who the men of the week are now. Vindaloo. Vindaloo keeps racking points up. Vindaloo up 26th place. And then the top is Nick has gone into 24th with 269. Miffy's gone into 22nd with 276. Then we have a train. Tigaro has gone into 17th with 288. David Shear, who's joint man of the week with 20 points, has gone into 16th. These people here are all breathing down 300 points. Johnny Reviews is up to 15th on 293. Paul G, nearly there. Paul G is on 297, has climbed to 13th. Drula is in 12th and climbed, and also becomes part of the gold member crew of breaking 300 points, Drula. So well done, Drula, breaking the 300 barrier. Drula had a good week because Drula sat on 299, scored 16 points. She's now 315. And Adrian, the other co-man of the week, picked up 20 points. And Adrian was already on 300, broke the gold last week. He's now gone on to 320. He is 9 points behind the person that he's chasing down. Adrian said to me yesterday that the only care that he had was to beat his pal Ian. So Adrian doesn't care about winning this. He just wants to beat Ian. But well done to Adrian for 9th. The places above 9th remained unaltered. People picked up points, so they remained unaltered. And on this page, the noticeable absentee was last week. The man of the week was Jimmy Talks Football. Jimmy didn't take part this week, so no scores for Jimmy. So Jimmy's down at the 21st. So a lot of people would have gone above Jimmy. Second page, any notice about Quez Ali? Quez didn't do him this week either. So Quez has dropped off that first page. He didn't do them this week, and he's dropped down to 25th. Rakdos Madness in 33rd didn't take part this week. So points, he's lost points to the people above him, and the people behind him are catching him up. Hanno and Neil and the Potato this week didn't take part. 36th, 37th, 38th. 41st and 42nd didn't take part this week. Finn and Side Dancer. 44th and 45th, Chan and Grant didn't take part this week. And then the bottom three there, 47, 48, 49, didn't take part this week. And at the end of the day, if you take part, you score points. If you don't take part, people will get ahead of the game. Roundtable talk. He's superb. He's got his mixture of Spanish and American. Says to me, I've got to see my titles, hermano. Gracias. Buen trabajo. You're a legend for doing this for us, Jose. You're more than welcome, sir. Ian Mesh says, never mind the scores and what we all want to do well. I'm loving the camaraderie of this group, says Ian. I love it too. Ian, mate, it's the fun part and the banter with scores is part of it. And mate, like you said, it's more about the camaraderie. Oh, how many can break the 500? I don't think you're going to have many bumper bonus weeks left. I don't know whether we've got any bumper bonus weeks after this week. It all depends how the other FA Cup games crumble. If they do what they've done this week and don't have any Premiership games on, then it could well be that you get another 20 bumper week. But as far as I'm aware, and I've not looked that far ahead, this is the last 20 bumper week that I can think of is on Friday. Adrian is now a dead man walking. Adrian's laughing. He's responded back. He's laughing. Daniel, I've talked too much smack talk. I basically have to win, says Dan. Yeah, I mean, looking at the league table, to be honest, guys, looking at the league table, you've got Graham is ahead of you, Daniel, by virtue of more correct predictions than you. Yeah, by virtue of more correct predictions, because you both sit on 364. Interestingly, this week we were quite close again. I got 16, Graham got 15, and I think, Dan, you got 17. So it was quite close. But even behind me, Carl Simpson done well. Carl Simpson scored the same as me, scored 16. And he's on my coattails, only 12 points behind. Ryan G is up there as well. You've got, listen, like I said, to me, if people continue playing this on a weekly basis, then there's no reason why you can't break 3 figures. And I expect 70 people to do it, providing they play. However, not everyone plays every week, but I'm just hoping that people remember to play on Friday and don't miss out on any points. So, with that being said, what have we got here? Here's Leo. Hello, Leo. I hope you're well. Leo, you this week, I'm going to find you, Leo. Where is Leo? There you go, Leo. This week you scored 7 points, my man. You scored 7 points this week, Leo. And what that did for you, because you were definitely one of the people that moved up the table. And what that did for you, Leo, there you go. Leo, you went up. You're in green, so you went up into 52nd place, Leo. So well done, you, sir. You climbed that table. The ground just won't go away. He says, happy days. Jimmy must be happy that we're doing another bumper week, I think. And Dan, what did Daniel say? I feel like Prime Barca and Real Madrid with Graham. Yeah, feel like that. Because I'm going to be Deportivo and shock the whole world when we won the La Primera. Ian, if you look in the rear mirror, you'll see me tailgating you. There you go. There you go. Look, it's already started. And then Leo is saying, moving on up. You certainly are, mate. You certainly are. So, as I said, on Friday, I will prepare another 20 games. Whether I go as far afield, I don't know, because although it's FA Cup weekend in England, there might be cups elsewhere, but there'll definitely be more top level, whatever country they're in, there'll be more top level games rather than me having to go to 3rd Division A and 2nd Division B and Oberliga Nord-Est and La Liga Central. And so I had to look at all regional leagues this week, but we should have more of a pick. I don't know. You've got the championships back, so I don't know. I mean, there's a whole load of games. There's a whole load of more games that we can select, like I said, on Friday. But what we'll do is, as I said, for Friday, we'll be back to predictions at 3:30. So remember, Friday's 3:30. And if I can't roll back, then I won't roll back because I'm going to go and play football. We've got double sessions on Friday. So, but there you go, guys. That's your update for this week. I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope you all stay blessed and you stay healthy. And what I want to see is as many of you in on Friday as possible to try and make points to get up that table and to break golds is what I want. So all of you are more than welcome back on Friday. But just remember, it's Friday. It will be 3:30. So with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you all. Like I said, have a splendid week, and I will catch up with you all on Friday if I am not on before that. But at the moment, I've only done a show for Friday. It might well be that I might do a show in between, but Friday's when I'm going to do it. Ian Meth is saying thanks again, Jose, and take care, amigos. He's brushing up on his Spanish, being in Spain, Ian. And Jimmy Oxford says, thanks, Jose, from the 200 Club. Jimmy, it won't be long, but you'll be saying thank you from the 300 Club, mate. Like I said, people play, they will gain points. And Drula says, see you all Friday or around. Right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. And as always, it's come on you Spurs. Great week. See you all Friday. Take care.